At 2:15 a.m. along the Nitro River, a massive Russian military convoy moved slowly across a steel bridge. The line of vehicles stretches over 5 miles long. More than 500 trucks and armored vehicles packed with ammunition, fuel tanks, and command equipment. All of it is headed to resupply 2,000 Russian troops fighting on the southern front. Mobile Pantsir S-1 air defense systems roll alongside the trucks, their 57 E-6 missiles ready to launch and 30mm autocannons pointed skyward. High above, a Nebo-M radar station sweeps the night sky every 3 seconds, capable of tracking anything as small as a baseball from 200 yards away. Every Russian officer believes this convoy is completely protected and that the bridge is secure. Unfortunately, they are catastrophically wrong. Hidden beneath the bridge, magnetically clamped to the steel beams and concrete supports, 12 Ukrainian FPV drones wait in silence. Each drone cost only $600 to build, carrying a PG-7 VL warhead powerful enough to punch through 12 inches of reinforced concrete. These machines don't rely on GPS signals that can be jammed or intercepted. Instead, they use onboard LiDAR sensors and structure mapping software to navigate completely autonomously. No satellite signals, no human pilots, no radio transmissions. Just one encrypted wake-up command waiting to activate them. For 72 hours, these drones have remained dormant, invisible, and patient. Now, poor quality Russian truck tires have caused the entire convoy to slow to a crawl, creating a perfect traffic jam right inside the designated kill zone. In a hidden Ukrainian command post miles away, a single operator leans forward and presses one key on his keyboard, causing the drones to wake up. 12 small green indicator lights flicker to life in the darkness beneath the bridge. One by one, each FPV drone releases its magnetic clamp and drops approximately 3 feet before its brushless motor spins up to full power. The low humming sound blends perfectly with the rumble of diesel engines and tire friction on the pavement above. The drones immediately form a tight formation, flying close to the massive concrete support columns to avoid both visual detection and radar signatures. Inside each small machine, the PG-7 VL warhead automatically arms itself, programmed to detonate exactly 1.1 seconds after impact for maximum armor penetration. The swarm splits into 3 attack groups. The first wave of 6 drones turns toward the ammunition trucks clustered in the convoy's center. The second group of 4 faces the fuel tankers near the rear. The final 2 drones lock onto the convoy's lead command trucks, where Russian officers coordinate all movement. Suddenly, one Russian lieutenant sitting inside a Pantsir S-1 command vehicle notices strange electronic interference flickering across his display screen. Something doesn't feel right. He immediately switches the air defense system from passive monitoring mode to active radar scanning. Within seconds, a 57 E-6 missile achieves target lock on a heat signature moving beneath the bridge and launches with a thunderous roar. The missile charges downward and strikes its target. A Ukrainian decoy drone that had been activated moments earlier specifically to draw defensive fire. The explosion echoes across the riverbank. The sudden blast causes immediate chaos on the bridge above. Drivers slam on their brakes and engines stall out. Several trucks plunge across multiple lanes. Horns blared in confusion and panic, causing the 5-mile-long convoy that had been moving steadily to suddenly collapse into complete gridlock. That explosion confirmed to every Russian soldier on that bridge that Ukrainian drones were present and active. The threat they'd been warned about was real. Radio chatter explodes across all communication frequencies. Drivers shout conflicting coordinates. Red warning lights flash across Panzer system dashboards. One Tor M2 air defense unit attempts to acquire target locks, but the dense steel structure of the bridge creates dozens of false radar returns, making it impossible to distinguish real threats from metal beams. The drones, however, have already vanished back beneath the bridge supports. Instead of pressing forward, they execute evasive protocols. The onboard AI systems recognize the sudden change in battlefield conditions and adapt their behavior instantly. Drone 3 activates its built-in X-band jammer. Immediately, Panther radar screens shift from fuzzy static to complete white noise, rendering the systems temporarily blind. 40 miles to the north, a Russian Beriev A-50 airborne early warning aircraft detects unusual heat patterns forming over the bridge area. The aircraft's powerful Shmel-M radar identifies small moving objects at extremely low altitude and transmits precise targeting data directly to ground-based air defense units. Suddenly, the Panzer's radar clears. A targeting reticle locks back onto Drone 9. A Tor M2 system receives the same data and fires a 9M338 missile that races toward the target at 1,850 miles per hour. Drone 9's AI immediately deploys its towed decoy countermeasure. From its underside, a 100-foot-long fiber optic cable rapidly unspools. At the end, an AL-50 decoy device activates and sends back amplified radar reflections that simulate a much larger aircraft. The Tor missile veers sharply off course, chasing the false signature. 3 seconds later, the missile detonates in midair, destroying only the decoy. However, the real drone survives completely intact. The explosion creates another bright flash lighting up the sky. Every Russian radar operator within a 50-mile radius now looks upward, their attention drawn to what they believe is an aerial threat. On the bridge, a temporary silence falls over the convoy. Then comes the final command signal. From the Ukrainian command bunker, the operator hits the execute button. All 11 remaining drones power back on simultaneously. But this time, they launch straight upward at maximum throttle, closing the final 200 yards to their targets in under 6 seconds. The kill phase has begun. 11 FPV drones surge upward from beneath the steel bridge, their propellers screaming at 18,000 revolutions per minute. They climb the final 200 yards in just 5.8 seconds. A vertical assault that gives defenders almost no time to react. The lead drone reaches the underside of the bridge deck, directly below an ammunition truck loaded with 120mm mortar shells and 122mm artillery rounds. Its PG-7VL warhead strikes the reinforced concrete and detonates after the programmed 1.1-second delay. The shaped charge pierces 12 inches of concrete, creating a directional blast with over 4,000 pounds per square inch of pressure. The explosion echoes downward, reflecting off the river surface 30 feet below. The water acts like a pressure mirror, compressing the blast wave and amplifying its destructive force. The concrete support column, designed only to bear vertical weight, suddenly faces massive lateral force. Steel rebar inside the column snaps instantly. The entire bridge structure shudders violently. 7 more drones strike within the next 1.3 seconds. Drone 2 hits the bridge section beneath a second ammunition cluster. Drone 3 explodes under a tanker carrying JP-8 jet fuel. Drones 4 and 5 strike simultaneously beneath 2 separate fuel vehicles. Drone 6 detonates below a mobile command post. Each blast is precisely timed to create overlapping shock waves that multiply the destructive effect. Concrete cracks and splinters. Flames erupt upward through the bridge deck. One massive fireball climbs 70 feet into the night sky. The final 4 drones target the bridge's main support columns. Their warheads detonate in synchronized succession, each adding more lateral force to structures already critically weakened. The southern half of the bridge begins to fracture catastrophically. At exactly 3:47 a.m., the bridge deck gives way completely. 40 Russian vehicles plunge into the kill zone below. The first vehicle to fall is a Ural truck carrying 82mm mortar shells. It lands nose first directly on top of the initial blast crater. The impact triggers a massive explosion. A secondary blast wave ignites 2 adjacent trucks, each loaded with mixed 122mm and 152mm artillery rounds stacked in wooden crates. The air temperature around the vehicles spikes above 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. The shock wave is powerful enough to crack windows over a mile away. Fuel tankers rupture, spilling thousands of gallons of JP-8 across broken asphalt. The fuel ignites instantly, and flames roll outward beneath the collapsing bridge deck. Additional fuel tanks explode in rapid succession. Fire spreads northward across the entire convoy. A Kamaz refueler truck catches fire and blows apart with tremendous force. Debris launches 60 yards in every direction, some fragments splashing into the river. A Panzer S-1 launcher positioned nearby attempts to retreat, but finds itself blocked by disabled vehicles. Its 30mm autocannon fires blindly into thick smoke, tracer rounds cutting useless patterns through the darkness. 2 seconds later, a third ammunition truck explodes directly beside it. The Panther system vanishes in a flash. By 3:48 a.m., the entire southern span of the bridge had ceased to exist. Only twisted steel beams and cratered concrete remain. Flames climb 80 feet into the air. Thick black smoke rises into the night sky. Heat signatures confuse Russian infrared optics. Ground units cannot coordinate. Command vehicles are destroyed. The convoy's radio network has completely failed. Out of approximately 300 vehicles in the convoy, at least 110 are confirmed destroyed or permanently immobilized. Satellite images captured later show a half-mile stretch of burned wreckage on both sides of the river. Shock waves from the bridge collapse are recorded by seismometers 3.5 miles away, registering 2.6 on the local magnitude scale. But the damage extends far beyond what's visible in photographs. The convoy had been carrying over 2 million pounds of ammunition and fuel, the complete lifeline for 1,000 Russian troops deployed near Melitopol and Tokmak. Without those supplies, artillery positions will run completely dry within 48 to 72 hours. Fuel reserves for mechanized units will be depleted in under 3 days. Russian logistical officers immediately attempted to reroute remaining supplies, but the Nitro River Bridge was one of only 2 major crossings in the entire sector. The next nearest route requires a 58-mile detour through heavily contested terrain, already targeted by Ukrainian HIMARS artillery units firing M31A1 precision rockets. Any reroute will become a death trap. At Russian Southern Command headquarters, panic begins to set in. All communications from the convoy have ceased. Drone footage released later by Ukrainian forces shows columns of smoke, twisted wreckage, and secondary fires continuing to burn for over 20 minutes. FPV drone kills are confirmed on fuel tankers, command trucks, and Panzer air defense systems. Meanwhile, Ukrainian analysts in Kiev watch the operation unfold. Field data indicates 9 out of 11 drones successfully struck their assigned targets. 2 were shot down or jammed, but the mission achieved complete success. With less than $7,000 in total drone hardware, Ukraine crippled the main supply artery for an entire Russian division. The battlefield situation shifts dramatically. Russian commanders hesitate to push forward without logistic support. Their planned southern offensive stalls completely. Ukrainian forces begin repositioning M777 howitzers, NASAMS air defense systems, and fresh drone teams into forward positions. By dawn, the Nitro River Bridge no longer exists. Satellite imagery captured at 6 a.m. shows a 400-foot gap where the southern span once stood. Firefighters from Russian rear units struggle to contain residual fires, while Ukrainian drones continue circling overhead, recording every detail. The destruction of the convoy marks a genuine turning point. With over 2 million pounds of ammunition and fuel permanently lost, Russian operations across the southern sector begin to collapse. Artillery batteries near Tokmak fall silent within 48 hours. Mechanized units halt all movement. No fuel, no ammunition, no options. The failed resupply creates cascading effects throughout the entire front. Forward positions are abandoned. Trenches are evacuated. Communications networks thin dramatically. Without functioning logistics, the battlefield presence disintegrates. Ukraine capitalizes immediately